Today is July the 13th, 2024. My name is Tanya Finchum. I'm with Oklahoma State University with the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program. I'm in Oklahoma City today to speak with Greg and Terri Gilpin, who are Santa ambassadors, and we'll learn a little bit later, but we're going to begin with having them talk a little bit about themselves. Start wherever you like, but first I'll say thank you for letting me come today. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Someone go first. Just a little bit of background on yourself.
All right. Well, I'm Greg Gilpin, and I've been Santa now since 2007. But I grew up in Oklahoma City, lived in Oklahoma all my life. Went to John Marshall High School in Oklahoma City, and then I graduated from Oklahoma State University. Met my beautiful bride back in middle school at church, and then we began dating my senior year in high school. And we got married my junior year at Oklahoma State University.
And what year was that?
That I graduated was
That you got married?
1978. There we go. Absolutely. I would never forget that. And
And you graduated from OSU?
I graduated
in
1979.
And what was your major?
I have a degree in advertising from the School of Journalism at Oklahoma State University.
Okay.
And had a great time there, loved it. Terry and I even thought that someday retiring in Stillwater would be a wonderful place to be, but things have changed. We'll probably not end up there, but we loved it there. It was a great time.
So where did you live on campus?
Married student housing, which isn't, our married student housing is still there, and on the north side of the campus.
Well, when you first came, though, which dorm were you in?
Wilhelm South.
Wilhelm.
12th floor of Wilhelm South. It's no longer there.
No longer there.
Yeah, and my son, when he went to school there, lived in Wilhelm. I can't remember which floor he was on, but he was there the last year that Wilhelm had occupants before they tore it down.
And what was you can go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about you then. Just a little.
Okay. I have always lived in Oklahoma. Always really lived in Oklahoma City except for my time in Stillwater. And I have a twin sister, and we're identical twins. And so growing up, I always had a best friend, best enemy, and we always were confused with each other. I mean, like, people always called us the wrong name. So, that I had a wonderful life experience with the twin sister. And I went to Putnam City High School, original, and graduated in 1976, and then went on to Stillwater. And I lived in Wilhelm North, and graduated in 1980 with a degree in accounting, and then we moved back to Oklahoma City.
Okay.
One quick story about being with a twin.
Okay.
My roommate at Oklahoma State University and I were dating twins. I was dating Terry, and he was dating Sherry. We were up there for our freshman year. They were still in school at Putnam City. Their freshman year was our sophomore year, and when they came to school, I brought Terry up on the floor and introduced her to some of the guys, and we walked around and everything. We went down and we were going to dinner or something, and then pretty soon Mark came up with Sherry. Well, some of the guys on the floor knew that we were dating twins, but a lot of the newcomers had no idea, and they came running in saying, "Oh my gosh, Greg's girlfriend is up here with Mark. What do we?" The guys, made it into a bit. "Oh, I don't know. This is terrible. This is awful." They had no idea that we were dating twin sisters, and so then we have married the sisters, and so my roommate and I are the brother-in-laws now. Because
we were all in the same youth group at church, and there were 3 or 4 couples that were high school sweethearts that then married out of our church group. So we were 2 of them, my sister and I, and brother-in-law and Greg. So,
that's made some great times and great memories.
Oh yeah. But that one I just always remember, because they just kept stringing these guys along. "Oh, I know, that's awful. That is just so terrible." And they were like, "Oh."
Well, I have to ask, did you ever switch out sometimes?
No, we didn't.
Not with the guys, but in class or anything?
No, we didn't do that. But
dress alike?
Well, our parents wanted us to have our own unique personalities and so forth, so they didn't push that. But like one of us would wear red and one would wear blue, or that kind of thing. That might be the same dress but in a different color. Sometimes we would dress alike, but not very often.
Not intentionally.
No. We do things more like that now by accident than.
Okay, and what did each one of your parents do for a living?
My mother was a stay-at-home mom, and my father ran an antique store in Oklahoma City.
Okay. Do you want to say the name?
Yeah, it was Anderson Antiques, and it was on the Classen Circle. And he and his father owned that business for many, many years.
Ooh.
So
That was fun too.
it was very much fun. We started working there at a very young age, dusting all the furniture and the glassware and stuff at 5 years of age.
If you break it, you take it.
And so it was a lot of fun.
Cool. Okay. Had they themselves grown up in the Oklahoma City area?
Yes.
They-
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did.
So
They were
Oklahoma
they were born in Oklahoma City. So
good native Oklahomans, long term. And what about you, Greg?
Yeah, my parents both born and raised in Oklahoma. My mother was born in Enid. My dad was born in Garber and lived in Garber on the farm that my great-grandfather had staked in the claim in the land run. And he served in World War II in the Philippines, came back, went to Oklahoma State University. When he got back, lived in Vet Village at the time. And so he went to school there, went to work for the university at the Public Information Office, doing illustration, drawing. He is a commercial artist. That's what they called him back in the day. We call him a graphic designer today, but he was a commercial artist. Worked with, like I said, with Oklahoma State University. In the 1970s, the Pistol Pete that looks more realistic, the cartoon caricature Pistol Pete that looks more realistic, was his creation. He did a lot of the covers for the football programs for many years, the commencement programs, Outreach magazine, which no longer exists. He worked on that, and so then he moved to Oklahoma City, started the Graphic Arts Center, which I continue to run today. And so he and a friend started it in 1954, and so they've been a long time.
70 years ago?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it, but it is 70 years ago. So the Graphic Arts Center has been around for about 70 years.
So you got 5 years to plan an anniversary then.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll have to come up with a 75th anniversary celebration of it. But my father had polio when he was 27, which was odd that he was an older person when he got polio. It left him partially handicapped, even though he overcame most of it and was able to walk assisted. Incredible man, loved him to death. I went to work with him when I graduated from high school. Graduated from college. I came back to work with him, and then he passed away in 1989, and that's when I took over the Graphic Arts Center.
And what was his name? Let's say it for the record.
Yeah, Dick Gilpin. And like I said, there's Centennial Series book covers for Oklahoma State University. He illustrated most of those before he passed away. Some of the later ones were done by another illustrator that was a friend of my father's that picked up that series after he passed away. But a lot of those covers were illustrations that he did.
We have that series in our office, so
I have many of them here. And
do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have an older brother. He's 9 years older. His name's Gary. He went to Oklahoma State University and did not graduate from there. He went into the Navy during Vietnam. And so he left Stillwater, went into the Navy. And then once he got out of the Navy, he was in Florida. So he ended up continuing education at the University of Florida. And then I have a sister that's 7 years older. She lives in Colorado Springs. Love her to death. And she also went to Oklahoma State University, but she only went for 1 year before she got a job one summer that she stuck with for a long time, and met her husband, and they've moved on out of the state, been relocated many times, but right now it's currently in Colorado Springs.
So you were the baby of the family.
I was the baby. I was, and I was the favored.
Oh my goodness.
It's true. Mom loved me best. What can I say?
What can you say?
You know, it's just a fact. But had a great childhood, loved everyone.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And then you ended up settling close by where we are today.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We came back to Oklahoma City, got an apartment over.
We've lived in Northwest Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole time, so.
You're not too far from Putnam City, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so can be a sore subject, because in 1975, my senior year, the John Marshall Bears played the Putnam City Pirates in the state championship game. So my brother-in-law and I sat on the John Marshall side, Terry and Sherry sat on the Putnam City side, and they cheated and won. It was a bad day.
Funny what we remember, huh?
Oh yeah. It's just a dark day in my life.
All right, well, let's segue into Santa. Tell us a little bit how that got started.
It's 2000. Excuse me. I believe it's 2007. I had a guy that was working with me in the same office, and he had gotten a divorce. But a year before, he had volunteered to be a Santa for his ex-wife's company party. She came by in August. They were still friends, even though they were divorced. And she asked him at the office, "Are you going to be Santa for us this year?" And he said, "No, he didn't want to do it." And I overheard that. And I told her, I said, "Well, I'll do it." And she said, "Oh, great." She said, we'll rent you a suit and all that. Be wonderful. I said, "Oh, yeah, I always thought it'd be kind of fun." I said, "But don't rent me a suit. I'm going to buy one." So went down to a local Santa place, North Pole City, and bought a suit because I didn't want to wear a rented one. And I had no beard at the time. So I started growing my beard out in August. By December, it was full, but it wasn't like it is today. And it was dark. My hair is dark. I have to bleach it. But then I just used theatrical makeup to whiten it. So I could whiten it, wash it out, and everything would be fine. As that was getting ready, as I was growing out the beard, some of the people at our church found out that I was doing this, that I was going to be this Santa Claus, and I bought the suit. And they said, "Well, we've been thinking about doing a breakfast with Santa event. Would you do it?" I said, "Well, I'm going to have the suit. I'm going to have the beard. Sure, I'd love to." So we started that year with a breakfast with Santa event where the children could come, take pictures with me, get a free breakfast, do some crafts, and then we would have the prints for them before they left the church. And it was a success. We continue to do it today.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Claus is now a part of the photo shoot and helping in that situation. And we'll have, I don't know how many kids come through on a Sunday. It's always the first Sunday in December. First Saturday, that's right, excuse me. First Saturday in December. And we'll go from 8:30 to 11:30 and have kids come and take pictures. It's all free for them. And the church, gets an opportunity to witness. It's grown where it was simply some small activities. Now they play reindeer games, and they have breakfast and crafts and write letters to Santa and make cards. And
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of church volunteers get involved to do the behind the scenes work, and the churches just continued to support it, continued to see it as a viable outreach to the neighborhood. And hopefully that'll continue for a lot more years.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So at what point did you join in as Mrs. Claus? And do you go by Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Okay.
So mainly I just help get the children up to the seat and sit with Santa and kind of help with the crying babies, those kind of things. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Some kids are intimidated by Santa, but they'll go to Mrs. Claus. And so if the child's frightened of me crying, I'll step aside. Mrs. Claus will sit in. Like I said, children are much more comfortable, softer face and presence, and so that's been great. And she's been a real asset to my whole Santa experience. The thing about the Santa thing is I had a bucket list, a Christmas bucket list, and had 3 items on it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a bell ringer. I thought that would be fun to do. I wanted to work in a Christmas tree lot because I thought it'd be fun helping people pick out Christmas trees. And I thought I want to one day just do Santa Claus, be Santa Claus. Well, the bell ringer opportunity again came up at the church. The Salvation Army was looking for people to ring bells, and the church got involved and said, well, let's see if we can encourage our congregation to be a part. And so we were able to, that year, check that off my bucket list, and we rang the bell for the Salvation Army. And then the opportunity came up for me to fill in as Santa Claus for my friend. And so I got that checked off. And I went around and asked local Christmas tree lots if I could work there unpaid, just volunteer for a day, because I wanted to help you. And the Christmas tree lots that I kept going to were a part of a fast food chain here called Coit's. And Mr. Coit said, no, this is all my employees that I hire here so that they can earn extra money. And I don't want you to take any of their time away. And I was like, I don't want you to pay me. I just want to work there for one day to help. And they wouldn't let me do it. But maybe someday I'll get to work in a Christmas tree lot to help people select trees. But Christmas has always been a big deal to me, very important. And so that's one of the things that I always thought would be fun.
But you did get to go to a Christmas tree lot with a photo shoot.
And
so we can count that.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I can check that off. Yes, I have had photo shoots at a Christmas tree farm.
And that was work, I guess.
Yeah. But I just always thought it would be so much fun to help people select that perfect tree. I have great memories.
Dressed as Santa?
No, not necessarily. I just remember going and getting a real tree when I was a kid, and it was always such a big deal and so much fun. And
would you go to a lot, or would you go in the country?
No, we would go to a lot somewhere. But my dad was a very funny man. Everything was funny, and he could find.
He could find humor in any circumstance, which always made it fun. So,
well,
yeah,
being Santa can be fun too.
Oh yeah.
So you didn't wear your suit when you rang the bells?
No.
I mean, there for a while you saw Santas ringing the bells.
Oh yeah. No, we were just
bell ringers.
Yeah, just 2 people out there ringing the bell, and I just found it, fun to do.
So then, since we're a little bit about childhood, go back. What's your earliest memory of Santa as a child?
My earliest memory was when I was about, I'm going to say I was about 5. And we lived in the village in Oklahoma City, a little house on Huntley Court. And one of my dad's good friends owned IGA grocery store. And they had a Santa in the store. And that was actually one of the employees that just wore a cheap suit, fake beard. But it was Santa Claus. And one year, Howard Snyder had his employee dressed as Santa come to our house, because we were good friends, to visit me, to come to the door. And I remember answering the door, and my eyes must have been the size of saucers. And I was so impressed that Santa Claus was at my door. And I can remember that so well. And I guess it just stuck, and I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be there.
What about you?
Well, we would always go to the mall and get our picture taken with Santa there. But one Christmas, my grandparents, there were 10 grandchildren. And probably not all of them were born yet, but my uncle would be Santa Claus sometimes for coworkers. He worked for OOHRP, and he would do Santa. And so we came into the house, and he had fallen asleep. And so when he heard us, he stood up, and Santa Claus had fallen asleep and left the presents and ran out of the house. And that was just kind of a fun little childhood memory that we had. So
Christmas was a pretty big deal in
Yeah.
both
Oh, yeah.
homes, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
oh yes, lots trees with tinsel and paper and packages and
All that.
All that. Yeah, absolutely.
Christmas parties and yeah.
And did you wish for Santa to bring something that he didn't bring?
Oh
It's usually a sore spot with some.
So,
no, I think
Usually got what?
I think I was always pretty happy.
Okay. How about you?
yeah, no, I don't think there's ever anything. I guess I could say, if I wanted to be cook from a movie, it was a Oscar Mayer weenie whistle. But no, I never was disappointed. Christmas was always a huge
I don't know that
thing.
we always got everything we wanted, but it was always just so much fun.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, we were very fortunate. Never had any struggles in my life as far as not being able to afford Christmas or anything like that. My parents were always, and my mother was, oh my gosh, every child, the three of us, within pennies was the same amount spent and the same number of packages. Terry is the same way with our kids and grandkids. Everybody's going to have the same number of packages to open, and it's going to total to the same amount of money, so nobody can ever say, I got more or I got better. And it can be very stressful for her to get everybody balanced out, but she does it every year, and it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And then do you put on the suit for the grandkids? How does that work?
Yeah, that's
well, not Christmas Day, but we will dress in red or green, or red and green, or something Christmassy. I mean, everybody comes in something Christmassy. The kids usually come in Christmas pajamas, and so we always get a picture with them. And the very first time we got the picture, they were lined up, and so now every year we have to do the same pose.
you have to do the
And
same
that's just fun. And but yeah, they will tell everybody that Santa is the real Santa, and they're now our elves, and they help us with things like at the church, and so they don't have any problem with there being multiple Santas. They just think it's more fun for everybody, so they're very okay with that.
Yeah, the only problem that I remember with me being Santa with the grandkids was I was at Piedmont doing a mayor's Christmas tree lighting, and I was sitting for photos for people to come up, and so my daughter Courtney brings the kids up to get pictures with me, and we Elise is the older granddaughter, and then there's Eva. Well, Eva would not come.
She was a baby. She was like,
she was walking, but she wouldn't come up to me and take a picture. And she was standoffish and very frightened. And I was like, Eva, it's me. No.
She didn't recognize.
She did not recognize me. The voice wasn't enough. The face wasn't enough. And so we took pictures with Elise, and they left, and they decided they were going to go to a restaurant to get something to eat. I said, well, when I'm done here, I'll join you. And so I went, had taken my hat off. I still had on the rest of the Santa suit. Walked in, no problem. She immediately is, oh, that's Papa, that's great, that's fun. This is a hat. If I put the hat on,
She couldn't recognize it.
I guess all of a sudden I changed or something, but she wouldn't come up. But if my hat was off, oh, well, that's Papa, that's little Papa. So it was weird. It was very, very strange. But both the girls are elves. This started when Elise was 5. She and Mrs. Claus were talking about getting some socks, if I remember correctly, for a kid that they were from the church or whatever that they were. I was thinking it was socks or shoes or gloves or something. And so they were working together, and so Terry had said something about going and getting that for these kids. And the way I understand it, Elise said something like, so I'm being like an elf. And it was at that point.
Yeah. And so what they do is they hand out the candy canes to the children that get their pictures taken. So that's a help to us.
Oh, but tell them how this all became, how she became an elf. She became an official elf.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, you decided that she was 5 years old.
Oh, she was so cute.
She
I made her a costume.
Yeah. But Terry asked her she has to have an elf name. She can't go by Elise. If you're going to be an elf, you have to have an elf name. So what was the elf's name that she came up with herself? Snowflake.
Snowflake. She's Snowflake.
She's Snowflake.
And we have Jingles.
Jingle Bell.
Jingle Bell and Emerald.
And Emerald, which is my daughter. And then my grandson, he's not so interested in being an elf, but he came up with an elf name for himself, and he's Mittens.
Oh, yeah.
So we have Snowflake, Jingle Bell, and Mittens, and Emerald are the elves that help us at various events. And Ezra doesn't help much. But at the Breakfast with Santa event, both the girls dress up and they assist. They'll hand out candy canes once the child has come, or the family's come and taken pictures with us, and they're directed towards the breakfast area. They hand out candy canes to each of the children, and occasionally people will get pictures with them as well. They'll want, let's.
And there are a lot of elf helpers. There's elf helpers with the reindeer games, and there's elf helpers in the dining area. And so all of our workers are elves. So they're all wonderful, wonderful people. We couldn't, it wouldn't happen without them. So lots of elf help.
And you made her first outfit?
Yes.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk a little bit about outfits, how they have changed or not changed, the evolution of your look.
Well, he got a custom suit several years ago.
2006.
And just as whenever we see something that we kind of like, either make it or purchase it, and I couldn't find anything for the elf, so I made outfits. But now, you can find some things. I can, find something red or green, and we kind of go with that. So I think they had green corduroy overalls last year, maybe, and so just whatever we happen to find. So.
And what about for yourself? Have you changed your
look?
Oh,
well, yes,
a little.
A little bit, yeah. Throughout the years, just adding some things and switching some things around, and you want to have some versatility. So
you remember your first outfit as Mrs. Claus?
Yes, actually, I made that one, and a red cape with very traditional red cape with a white fur and then red skirt. So,
okay.
But if we do like a kitchen scene, I have an apron, and he has a chef's coat, and so kind of has different varieties.
long skirt or
Yeah. Oh no, it's
about hat? Do you wear a hat?
sometimes wear a hat or a little headpiece, something. Yeah.
She's got more versatility than Mr. Claus does.
Well, he has
with
his share of
outfits.
outfits. Let me tell you, he has
Yeah,
a closet
I mean,
full.
Yeah, she calls me a peacock, and that's probably right. But I
Do
mean,
you
I've
still
got
have your first one?
my first suit. Yes, I do have it. I have 5 suits. I have 2 Coca-Cola suits, 1 traditional suit, 1 parade coat that I rarely wear, and then my custom suit, which I had made in 2014. Yeah, 2014 is the one that goes to most photo shoots. But I also have an apron, a leather apron that I'll wear for when I'm in the workshop, and so the chef's coat, chef's hat for when I'm doing baking or cooking with Claus. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of things with.
Well, where do you get a custom one made?
Oh, there's seamstresses. There's that specialize in Santa attire.
In Oklahoma?
Well, the one
yeah, there are. I mean,
there are
I
some.
think there are. There's, and like when we go to our Santa meetings, conventions, there's people there that
Oh, vendors.
There's vendors that show their talent, and you can get some special things made.
And that's where my custom suit came from. Was we met a seamstress out of Houston that was at one of these events, and she made my coat for me. Allowed me to tell her exactly what I wanted, so that it is unique. There isn't one exactly like it, and so a lot of the Santa Clauses have custom suits, and they can be very, very beautiful. I mean, some become impractical because they're so big and heavy and hot that it's. When I'm doing a 10-hour photo shoot day, I don't wear my coat and all of that. I go with shirt sleeves and vest because you just could not make it through a 10-hour photo shoot with all of the coat and everything on it. So.
Well, I've not asked that question before, so since you mentioned different kinds, what's the difference between the Coca-Cola and the traditional?
I'm glad you asked that. The traditional suit, what we call a traditional Santa suit, will have a fur collar and a fur strip right down the center where you would normally think of buttons or whatever, but it's a solid fur strip, fur around the base of the coat and around the sleeves. That's traditional. Well, Coca-Cola has buttons, gold buttons down the center, and the big belt and everything. They both have the big belt, but the Coca-Cola suit has the gold buttons because that was the way that Sunbloom, the artist at Coca-Cola, painted the Coca-Cola Santa. So that's called a Coca-Cola suit. And then my custom suit actually doesn't button. The coat stays open so that you can see the vest and the smaller belt underneath.
And it's long.
Yeah, and
His coat
it's
is
longer. The traditional suit only comes just below the waist. My coat comes down the mid-calf, so it's much bigger, much more impressive.
Are they all the same shade of red?
Well, they vary a little bit.
A little bit, but they're all pretty close.
Yeah.
They're pretty much a deep red.
But some of the Santas have different
Green,
colors.
I think.
The green one is beautiful, and there's we've seen like someone in red, white, and blue, like a patriotic Santa. So everybody has their own unique style, and it's fun.
It's a lot of fun, particularly at these conventions when the guys will
Or all white.
bring out their custom suits, and there'll be some that have, rather than white fur, they'll have like fox or wolf. I mean, they are absolutely gorgeous suits. The problem that some of them have is that people, for photo shoots, expect the red and white. And these suits are gorgeous, but they're like, that's not Santa. And so they'll have that red and white suit as well, because that's what a photographer or somebody may want. Now I want Santa Claus in the red and white like we see in the pictures. But man, their suits are awesome. And earlier you had mentioned Kenny Blair, who passed away.
Yeah,
His suits were amazing.
Very pretty.
Very pretty.
Elegant.
Very elegant. Very bulky. And the fact that he was a former NFL player is the only way he could pull that off, carry that suit off. But they were awesome suits. Very impressive.
I think you could spend as much as you want on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's an investment. I mean, whatever.
And you know,
whatever
the
you choose.
children don't really care what your suit looks like. The children just want Santa Claus. So you could wear like some of the suits, very plain, just very, off the rack, from a bag. I mean, whatever. The kids just want to see Santa. They're not looking at his attire. The parents are the ones that are doing that, but the kids, they just want to see the man with the beard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the suit is, like she says to the children, is so secondary. The suit impresses the parents, the photographers, people who want you for commercial events or whatever. That's when the suit matters the most. Children, I can be dressed like this, I can be whatever, and they see Santa. They don't care that I don't have a suit. It doesn't matter at all.
What do you think they're looking for? The beard primarily, or what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Last night we went to dinner and there were two little girls. I think they probably were maybe 4 and 5. As soon as we walked in, Santa. And he didn't even have any red on. He had on, I think, green.
Yeah,
or kind of like an olive green shorts and shirt. And, he just stops and talks to him, tells them how many days it is till Christmas, asks them if they're being good. And, they just kept coming back because they wanted to talk to Santa. And, we just go along with it, and hope to, make their dream come true.
okay.
I have to brag on my grandkids here for just a moment. Children will come up to me when I'm at Home Depot, wherever we are, and they're with me, and they'll start talking to me as Santa. And they know not to call me Papa. They call me Santa. And I don't know how they learned that or why they know, but they know when I'm talking with a child, that's Santa. And they'll call me Santa, and they'll step back and they'll let me talk with these children. I don't know if their mom and Mrs. Claus told them, hey, back off when he's talking, because they're very respectful of Santa's interaction with children. I think it's amazing.
I will tell you a story of one of our grandchildren. She wanted a skateboard. And so we were all here in the living room, and I said, now I need to know what you all want for Christmas, because Christmas is not too far away. And she said, well, I want a skateboard. And I looked at her mother and I was like, oh, I don't know about a skateboard. And she said, yeah, I don't know. You might not be big enough for a skateboard yet. And she turned and looked at me, and she walked right over to Papa. And she looked in his face and she said, Santa, I want a skateboard. So she knew who to go to. But she got a dollhouse instead.
She said, I can go above you people. I'll go right to the guy right there.
I guess, did you still believe the next year then? Will be the question.
But as we mentioned earlier, that Christmas for both of us is a big deal. I mean, we decorate and lights on the house, and Terri decorates inside. It's always beautiful, but she's also had a bakery and loves to cook, loves to bake, and makes the most fantastic Christmas cookies that are absolutely gorgeous. But she'll get the kids in, and they'll be baking cookies, and she's made some incredible memories with them, helping them, teaching them how to make or how to decorate cookies. And
Yeah, we have a good time.
You have a great time, and so that's another one of our special Christmas memories. When my father was still alive, and he would come over, and Terry would be making cookies and baking cookies, and he would come and sit, and he would decorate a cookie or two, but he would eat them as he decorated them. He always referred to them as her disappearing cookies. They just seemed to disappear because they were fabulous, and she put so much effort into them, and they are beautiful and very tasty. So when kids ask me what my favorite cookie is, it's Mrs. Claus's.
Okay,
Christmas
just not a particular.
Not a brand, no,
chocolate
it's,
chip or anything, just
No.
whatever she makes.
It's interesting you said chocolate chip. One of the Santas that I went to school under conducts a survey every year, and chocolate chip is the winner every year. It seems like it always is the top cookie for Santa. I think some of those guys lie, but anyway.
I would have thought in Oklahoma it might be Snickerdoodles.
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
that would
that's
be
a very popular
it
cookie
is.
too.
That is.
I'll tell you, I don't know a Santa that will turn down cookies. So
Yeah, that's exactly Any
I
cookie.
think they all
works.
like cookies.
That's exactly right.
And they don't worry about it getting in there.
Oh.
Crumbs in your beard.
You just brush it out, you know.
That beard is a problem when it comes to eating. Mrs. Claus is constantly going, because I've got a crumb or barbecue sauce or something in my beard that has to be remedied.
Well, how has it evolved since from dyeing it back in the day?
Oh, back in the day. Well, back in the day, that first year, I had a mustache, but I didn't have a beard, so I grew the beard out. On Christmas morning, I shaved it off. I mean, I was back to clean shaven. And then in August each year, I would start growing it back again. So I could get a beard. It wasn't this beard, but, a full beard. And I would shave it off every year. In fact, one year it kind of came back to bite me because I shaved it off Christmas morning, got a call that somebody Christmas afternoon was hoping that I could come, and I said, Santa's left the building. I mean, he's not here anymore. And so the rest of the year I'd just be clean shaven. And so people didn't associate me with Santa Claus. And one year at our Breakfast with Santa event, some of the kids were starting to say, I know who you are. And I said, no, that's not me. Because my beard would be dark, except when I was at Santa event, and then it'd be white. So I took a photo of myself without the white beard, and then I had a photo of me seated with the white beard, and I photoshopped them together so that it looked like I had my picture taken with Santa Claus, and I took it to them, and I said, see, I got my picture. And they were like, oh, I guess you aren't the same guy. And so that bought me some time. But then in 2014, we went to our first Santa school in Branson, Missouri, under Santa Tim Conahan. Very well-known Santa, big-time Santa. He calls himself the Hollywood Santa. He is the Toys for Tots Santa. He did the Hollywood Parade in California, has some big-time clients. But he teaches a school that travels around to several locations every year. And they even do a cruise school now. But so we went up there in 2014 for our very first Santa school. And met Tim Conahan, and we're learning. But that was going to be in April or May. So at the end of 2013, and I knew the school was coming, I said, I'm going to let my beard grow and keep it because I'm going to go to the Santa school. I want to have my beard. So that was the first time. And since then, I've had it ever since. So met Tim Conahan, went to school with Tim. While at that school, we ran into some other Oklahomans out of Norman, Bo and Jeannie Turner. And so we met there and became friends, and had a great time with them there. And we got back to Oklahoma City, and Bo was like, we need to start a Santa group. And he wanted to know if I wanted to be a part. And I said, sure, that'd be great. I'd love to learn from other Santas. And so he started with that idea of pulling a bunch of Oklahoma Santas together to have meetings to help share ideas, give tips, maybe do events, all kinds of things, and get some education. So he started that with the help of myself and about 6 other local Santas, and that group's now grown to 50 plus Santas across the state of Oklahoma. So anyway, in 2014, we go to that school, we learned a little bit about being Santa. Well, 2016 was going to be the 20th anniversary of the largest Santa convention that was in Branson that Santa Tim had put on, and he was going to do the 20th anniversary one in 2016, and he contacted me because he knew I was a graphic designer, asked if I would help with that. So I became a part of the committee to help do that. I did all the graphic works for it, the program, all that kind of silliness. And so in 2016, we had the largest convention, the largest gathering of Santas ever. Mm-hmm. The 700 Santas.
And wives.
And Mrs. Clauses and elves. Mm-hmm. And in Branson for this convention. It was a lot of fun. I mean, we got to see Santas from all over. I had a Santa from Oslo, Norway that was there. And we had a parade in the Branson Landing. If you're familiar with Branson, is a big long shopping strip along the river. And the parade was Saturday morning, and all 700 plus Christmas performers marched down this shopping center. It was so much fun. We had a blast. It just continued to cement the whole, this is kind of fun to do, and we're going to keep at it. And Terri, this was not her dream. This was not her goal. This was not her ambition, but she has helped me so much with look and making sure I look good, and helping me by being Mrs. Claus when she's needed. I think she just tolerates me.
So when did the curls come in?
In 2014, at that Santa school with Tim Conahan, he was showing how to do that. What products to use to keep your mustache curled, and how to go about it. And so I always get the handlebar mustache when Terri says that it makes it look like I'm smiling all the time, even if I'm not. Yeah. It presents.
One of the things that Tim stressed at that convention too was, if you're going to keep your beard all year long, you need to be Santa all year long. And so you always have to be at your best, like kind, considerate, thoughtful, to interact with the children. You don't ever want the children to see you in a negative light. And so, that's just good for all of us, to have those attributes and to think about those things. And kindness goes a long way.
Yeah. Yep. But Terry's right. You have to be careful if there's children around. Watch what you say, watch how you act, because
they're watching.
They've got their eyes on you. And so, in a way, I guess it helps me to be a better person to watch how I act and behave. So that's a good thing. It's a benefit for me.
Well, I mean, it seems like it's the look plus the personality. They've got to blend pretty well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to match.
Yeah, got to match.
Yeah, because we've run into some people that they'll have a beautiful beard, and I'll ask them, are you a Santa Claus? No, I can't stand kids. Good thing you're not a Santa Claus. It's glad you're not a Santa Claus. But the look is there, and I'm like, man, I'm sure people come up and ask this person because they look like Santa Claus. And I'm happy to tell them. I say, if you ever want to be, let me know. I'll help you get started.
So what color is your beard naturally?
it's-
Naturally,
It's almost all
but the hair
Yeah.
you have to do.
The hair's dark.
the hair.
Yeah, it's still dark.
Now, mine isn't.
Yeah, hers is natural. Hers is beautiful just the way it is.
Yeah, yours is perfect.
She doesn't have to bleach it or anything. And she bleaches my hair for me, which is quite a process.
Well, who grooms your beard? Do you go to a barber or Mrs. Claus is in charge?
Well, I encourage him to go to a barber a couple of times a year.
Yeah, there is a barber here that's
Does several Santas.
does several Santas, but specializes in beard trims and stuff. And so
Yeah.
I'll go there about once a year just to have him clean it up and
You like the length you have it now? Has it always been?
yeah, this is
He's
about
kind of kept it about like that.
about there. Some of the Santas
Oh, have
they,
you
they
had
go
longer, yeah?
really long, and they're a pain sometimes. And I don't want to be in ZZ Top. I want to be Santa Claus, so I keep it trimmed up. And Terry loves Christmas movies. She watches all the Hallmark movies. Just
Do you do that prepping for it to get into the spirit every season? Do you have a routine you do in order to get
Yes.
in
So,
the spirit?
Miracle on
34th.
34th Street is my favorite. Is my absolute favorite Christmas movie, and so I usually start with that. Sometimes it's rather early in the season, like maybe October.
Okay, so
Well,
when?
or Christmas in July, Hallmark.
So we do have, we celebrate Christmas in July here with our family. We're fairly busy in the fall with events and things. So we started doing Christmas in July with the kids, and not so many presents or anything, maybe just one little gift. But have them over for breakfast like we do on Christmas morning, and have some little activities, and the kids love it. And so that's why the tree is already set up. So
Okay. And will it stay up until
it will.
whenever?
This one will stay up, and then everything else will come out.
And there'll be two more trees.
Yeah, at a later time. So
But for Christmas in
Yeah.
July. And then my beautiful Mrs. Claus decided we needed to have scavenger hunt one
oh my
year.
goodness.
For Christmas, she decided that we would hide the gifts from Santa somewhere and make the kids go look for them. And so we set out clues from the Grinch. The Grinch had come and taken all of the presents, but he had left clues for them to try and find them. And so that was hugely popular as they went around the house following the clues till they finally found the presents. So the next year we had Jack Frost stole the presents and left clues. And so now it's just about any time they're looking for a scavenger hunt.
You have to stay
All
on your
four of
toes
them
then.
really enjoy it.
Oh, they just
Yeah,
love it
they
to
love
death. And Eva, the middle grandchild after Jack Frost had taken the presents, she goes, oh boy, what if next year Jack Frost and the Grinch get together and they hide the packages in the attic? Nobody wants to go in the attic. But she was already thinking what was going to happen to the packages next year. But
How about Elf on the Shelf?
They're not into Elf on the Shelf. I think Elf on the Shelf is a lot of work for parents.
That's what I have heard, yeah.
It is a lot.
But I think they have a lot of fun with it. I think it's a great opportunity for parents to interact with their children and do some silly things. And the kids don't necessarily know that it's mom and dad doing that, but they will have some fun with it. And I think anything that makes that some silliness and some happiness and some funny things is all right. But we don't have an elf on the shelf.
I get a lot of questions about my elf. Kids will come, what's the name of my elf? because they've got their elf on the shelf at home, and they're testing me to see if I know, and so my out for that. Learned from another Santa is, well, I don't know. What did you name it? He has an elf name in Elfish, but you wouldn't understand Elfish. So when you got it, you named it, didn't you? Well, yeah. Well, what did you name your elf? And so that way I don't have to know the name of the elf, because the elves have Elfish names that I know. So what did you name it? And so that gets me off the hook on what their elf's name is. I've had teachers, I do some school shoots. I do 14 schools every year. And I've had teachers come as we're setting up for at school, and they'll bring me their class elf. And he'll sit on my shoulder as if he's telling me which kids have been misbehaving in class. And she'll get a picture of what we call an elfie of me and their elf. And she'll say, see, Sprinkles, or whatever the name of their elf is, was talking to Santa today. So you guys better straighten up. So they have a lot of fun using the elf as a disciplinary tool. And so when they can show pictures of the elf actually reporting to me, then that gives it some legitimacy and helps with the school discipline.
Yeah, I'm guessing that Santa would rather not be in that position.
Yeah, I really don't want to be disciplinarian. I don't want, and you'll hear a lot of Santas say that they don't like it when people will come up and say, now, little Johnny's been on. I want you to tell him to brush his teeth or go to bed or whatever. And we're kind of like, that's really your job. So it's difficult. We find it hard to kind of skate around that. We don't want to be that heavy. We don't want to be the disciplinarian.
No, we find the good in every child.
Yeah, you want good memories for them.
Yeah, absolutely. If Santa's just being mean and disciplinarian and hard, it takes a lot of the joy out of it. Santa's all about love, happiness, joy, trying to display the characteristics of Christ, of loving everybody. And that's another thing is we try to make sure we do a home visit that we'll read a story or whatever that brings Christmas back to the reason for the season. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Santa's great. Santa's fun. Santa makes Christmas, enjoyable. But it's the nativity scenes that matter. That's what Christmas is all about. I'm just a representative of the gifts that Jesus taught us, to love others, to give of yourself, to bring joy, to try and bring some happiness into the world. And I don't want to overshadow him or take away from a family's focus on what's really important. Now, there are families that don't believe, and we have to be careful not to bring that up in a situation where that they might find it offensive or problematic. But most of the places we go, we'll see a nativity scene or whatever, and it's, tell me about that. And we'll let the kids tell us about it. Yeah, Santa, Jesus Christ. That's what it's all about. And because, like I said, we're a part of the season, but we're not the reason for the season. And so that's important that gets shared.
It's the kindness part that people need to focus on, I think, that time of year.
Absolutely.
So you do for photo shoots, schools, home visits. What else?
Corporate events.
Oh.
I've done, been in some billboards and print ads, TV ads. I like to do more of that. That's fun. I like seeing myself on the billboards or whatever. And I was in a movie. With Candace Cameron Bure, Hallmark fame, but she and her brother started Great American Films a few years back. and they were filming a movie in Catoosa, and they needed a background Santa, and I got the part. And so for 18 seconds in one of those movies, you can see me in the background taking some selfies with some other background characters. And so I call it my movie, the movie I'm in. And no credit in it or anything like that, but it was a lot of fun.
Did you have to actually audition for it?
No, I had to send in photos because I wasn't going to be doing a speaking part. They just wanted to look. And that was fun. It was during COVID. They had some very strict COVID guidelines that they had to follow. And so we went up and had to be there by noon to take a COVID test that day. And you went in, they swabbed your cheek in there, and then you had to go sit in your car in the parking lot and make sure that it was okay. If it was okay, then they would call you back in. And as we're going through that screening process, one of the people that was there for a background part looked up and goes, "Well, I know what part he's here for." And so everybody that was a background character was to go to this holding area that they called background holding, and that's where they would have them change into winter attire. It was in August, it was August that we were filming this thing, and it was hot, but so they would have sweaters and scarves and hats and all that, and they'd be filming out on the street, and the background holding people would be in this room where you could see some of the production going on, but you're just sitting there waiting for your turn. So we're there at 1:00 and go through a screening and everything, but I had a dressing room. I had a trailer for Santa so that I could change into my suit and everything. And also they had a makeup person there. And Terry had already fixed my beard. Everything was, and I walked up to the makeup lady and she looks at me and she goes, "Yeah, I don't need to do a thing. You look great." They didn't do anything for me as far as makeup. Sent me to background holding with everybody else. And so we sat in there and watched as various groups were being called to go out and walk the street and be background. So we're sitting there and 6:00 rolls around, 7:00 rolls around, 8:00 rolls around at night, and they haven't called for Santa yet. I'm just in there visiting with other background people and taking some selfies. And finally, at 10:00 that night, we had dinner. Everybody left, went to a nearby church. They fed everybody dinner. Still hadn't been called. We go back to background holding. Finally, at 1:30 in the morning,
AM. Okay.
we need Santa. Because now we're doing a nighttime scene, and people are walking around this kind of a Christmas village setup that they had, and I was the Santa that people were taking selfies with. And so anyway, we had been there since noon until we left at 2:30 in the morning to come home for my 18 seconds of fame.
And in your...
I'm in my costume the whole time. Yeah, I took my coat off, but I'm just kind of sitting there. And like I said, some of the other background people wanted to take selfies. Sure. That's fine. That's great. We had a good time sitting there, but I was like, I could have shown up about, at about 9:00 tonight and wouldn't have to been here. But we decided that probably won't happen again. But it was a fun experience.
Yeah, good experience.
I mean,
He can mark that off of his.
and I've been in a movie, so I can check that off. So, but it's so much fun.
And so you get asked for a lot of selfies, don't you?
Oh yeah, we call them Elfies.
Constantly, I would think.
Absolutely. There is one thing left on my Christmas bucket list that I would love to do. And I tried to figure out how to be involved. I want to bring a service member home for Christmas. you see these reunions where soldiers come home and the kids are just elated, you know. I just would love to be a part of that where, you know, the service person is behind the curtain or back, and I'm talking with kids and you know, pre-planned that this kid, what do you want for Christmas? I want my mom or dad to come home. Let me see what I can do about that. And have mom or dad come home. And I would just think that would be awesome.
You wouldn't be able to do it.
No, I couldn't hold it together. I'd be a ball of mush over there. But
Well, Terry would have to help you get through it.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. I can get emotional sometimes, choked up about stuff. Occasionally hear stories of kids, and the ones that hurt is, well, grandma's sick or grandma passed away. I wonder, I'm sorry, sweetheart. My magic's in toys and gifts. I can't do that. I know the one who can, and I have, you know, I have a list, right? The nice list. Santa has another list. That's his prayer list. I'll pray to the one that can help. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no. I think that's why you're a good Santa. Your heart gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
Not like the Grinch.
yeah, not right.
Well, no, his gets better at the end, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, his grew 3 sizes that day. That's another thing that we have to do is stay on top of all of the current movies
And toys.
and toys.
He does really well with the toys.
And whenever we get a catalog, you know, from Target or whoever, I'll pick it up and I'll say homework, you know, because I got to go through here and see what's the new big thing, you know, Beyblades or whatever. So I need to know what those are, what they're asking for. And so I'll look at all the toys to kind of have an idea so that when they come and ask, I go, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I can even help fill in the blanks sometimes. I had one little girl come and mom was standing to the side and the little girl comes out and I said, well, what would you like for Christmas? Well, I don't want a doll. I said, oh really? So what kind of doll would you like? Would you like a Baby Alive, a Bratz doll, American Girl doll, whatever? And the little girl goes, oh, I want an American Girl doll. I said, okay. Now, do you want a look-alike doll or do you want one of the characters? And I named some of the characters from American Girl. This mother's standing over there and goes, he's got to be Santa Claus. Because I had familiarized myself enough with doll options and I think it helps make Santa more real. Oh, he knows not just a doll. He wants to know what kind of doll, and he knows what all the dolls are. And so Terry's helped me with that to get that all figured out. That, oh, yeah, the more you know, the better off.
Has there been one that surprised you?
And
You
about
just-
Charlie?
Charlie? Charlie, he's so cute.
Tell her about
Well,
what
go
happened.
ahead. That's all right.
One of our first gigs together was for the Greens Country Club here in Oklahoma City. And they had a brunch, a Christmas brunch, and they wanted us to come and sit in front of a tree, kind of like here. And people were dining, and the children would come up as there were openings and tell us what they wanted. And so we had this one little boy named Charlie. Charlie was cute. He comes along. He comes up and he's sitting between us and he's visiting with us. And I get around to the question, okay, Charlie, what do you want for Christmas? A pickle maker. Okay. So I finished and he walks on and Terry leans over to me and she goes, did he say a pickle maker?
Pickle maker.
I said, yeah, that's what he said, pickle maker. And so we're kind of chuckling about, what's a pickle maker? I mean, what does he really want? Mom comes over. She leans in. What did he tell you he wanted for Christmas?
A pickle maker.
I said, a pickle maker. She goes, he's been asking for that for weeks. I'm like, well, I'm glad you know about it because it's an oddball for us. So anyway, hopefully Charlie got some cucumbers and vinegar or whatever it takes and he can make his own pickles. But he told us, he said, I really like pickles. And off he went. And so yeah, it's kind of been our little joke, is that when somebody asks for something that's a little bit strange or unique, it's a Charlie, it's a pickle maker. So anyway, Charlie, I hope you got your pickle maker and you're enjoying pickles. But that was many years ago.
Yeah, that was fun.
Charlie's got to be in high school by now, or college somewhere.
He may be a shelf somewhere.
Yeah,
on the
he's working for Vlasic. I don't know. He's doing something, but that one was fun. And the same place, we had a little girl, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this little girl.
She's so cute.
Cute. Oh, she's beautiful. Hair was done. She was dressed beautifully. She came over. She told us what she wanted, which was a pretty extensive list. And she went back to her table and was eating, and pretty soon she'd come back.
Yeah.
She
I
thought,
forgot to tell you.
and she had 3 or 4 more items. Go back to the table. There'd be a lull. Here come Kennedy, and she thought. And then and I mean, if I had written down everything that Kennedy wanted, it would have been a scroll. I mean, it was, as she thought of things, she had to come back and tell us.
She just wanted to make sure you brought her one thing off that list.
Yeah, well, there was no way she was going to get all of it. But she was cute. She was just a beautiful little girl. Just every time she thought of something, I better go tell Santa. He needs to know.
So have you had repeat customers that come back and say, I didn't get what I asked for?
Oh.
Usually it's the parents, kind of a funny thing, like we'll be out and they'll say, well, Santa, you didn't bring me that
Porsche
car or
whatever,
something. Yeah. And then he usually says, well, you have to be good 365 days a year.
Yeah, you're that close. You almost got it, but not quite. But yeah, parents will often say, I never got this or I never got that. And so we'll have fun with that. Kids, usually not so much. A lot of times though, they'll ask, what did you bring me last year?
Oh, that test tube.
Oh, the tests are incredible. And so you try and skate around those situations. If you're lucky, a parent will have slipped you that information, knowing that the child's going to ask. If you ask, you give your Legos. Got it. So they'll come up, oh yeah, I brought you that Lego set. Did you enjoy it? It was fun. And then they're like, ooh, wow. I had one incident. It was after Christmas, actually. A lady wanted me to come on the 28th of December because the family was going to finally be able to get together from various states to be together. So they wanted Santa to be a part of it. I said, yeah, I can come after Christmas, no problem. She said, but you can't have to make up a story for this little 5-year-old I've got as to why you're coming after Christmas. I said, no problem. I'll make something up. So my plan was, well, I got back to the North Pole. The elves were detailing the sleigh, getting it all cleaned up, and we came across some gifts that somehow I forgot to deliver. And so I came back to bring those that I forgot. Sure enough, I get to the house, I'm going to the door, and here's this little 5-year-old boy named Tanner, and he's standing there. I didn't know his name. That was the problem. I should have known before. I tried to know before. He walks up, hands on hips, he looks right at me, and he goes, what's my name? Well, fortunately for me, Grandma's walking right behind me, and she goes, Tanner. He didn't hear it. And I said, well, you're Tanner. And he was, eyes were shot. Yeah, how did I know? I knew he was going to start throwing more questions at me to try and test me. So I tried to turn it back on him a little bit, and I noticed that he had a big bandage over his thumb and wrist. I said, Tanner, tell me what happened to your thumb there. And he looks at me, he puts his hands on his hips again. He goes, I cut it on the knife that you put in my stocking. So apparently Dad had bought him a pocket knife, put it in his stocking. He got cut, and it was my fault. I was just not going to win with this child. But it is one I'll remember, the way he just stood there with his hands on his hips. Cut it on a knife that you put in my Okay, sorry about that. Note to self, don't bring sharp objects to 5-year-olds. So lots of funny little incidents like that have happened.
Are most of these around the area, or do you go distance to do some of them?
Now, most everything I do goes from Piedmont to Norman, Noble maybe, Chickasha, Edmond, Metro.
Yeah.
I work for 14 different photographers, and so they're all over from all of these locations. And so I do photo shoots with them, and then I do the 12 to 14 elementary schools every year. And then the two of us do Rose Creek Country Club.
Okay.
And then I do Oak Tree Country Club and Carter Chevrolet in OOHRP is a regular that I do every year. So I guess OOHRP would be the farthest thing that direction. But try and keep it relatively close.
So when do you start scheduling, like for this year? Have you already got things?
October 13th.
Your first event is on October the 13th.
My first photo shoot. I actually have an event next week with a photographer, a 2-hour summer Santa photo shoot. Then the following week I have a birthday party that I'm supposed to go to. That's supposed to have like 30 kids at this kid's birthday party that he wanted Santa to come to. So we do a little summer stuff, 1 or 2 things every summer, but it's October is when it kicks into gear.
And so October 13th through December 24th, or do you go do stuff on Christmas Day?
Oh, no, I don't do Christmas Day. Christmas Day is
Is
Christmas with the family. A lot of people request Christmas Day, but no, I that's for my family, and Santa's back at the North Pole, so you're on your own. But yeah, I'll do Christmas Eve. I have one family every year that wants me to come on Christmas Eve, and it's a repeat deal. I've watched these kids grow up. They expect to see me, and now there's fortunately some more little ones coming up because the ones that I first started with are now high school, and Santa's not as cool as he used to be. Even though we still have a good time, they like bantering back and forth, and we do poses with them that are more age appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, do you keep note cards from year to year so you know which kid said what if you're going back for repeat?
I should. That would really, that would be smart to keep track of all of that. And
well, just for the ones you know you're going to repeat.
Yeah, that I know I'm going to come back to. Yeah, that would be I should probably do that. But one of them, this one little boy that I see every Christmas Eve, when I first started going to see him, the family, he was part of, there's a couple other kids, but him in particular, he had been in a Christmas pageant or show or something in his church, and he had memorized some verses out of Luke 2 about, the birth of Christ, and wanted to recite them for me. I said, oh, please do, and he did. Well, fortunate for me, I've memorized all of Luke 2. So when he stopped, I picked it up and completed the story. And he was like, that's awesome. And I said, I know the story of Christmas. And so we were able to talk about the meaning of Christmas because of the 2 or 3 verses that he had memorized, and I was able to fill in with the rest of it. And he still will say, I remember you telling us. Yeah. And he's in high school now. I think he'd be a senior this year. I need to double check on that. And so we talk about that and about he's into gaming. He's actually on which fortunately I knew a little bit about. The high schools now have esports gaming teams, and he's on a team and is going to get a scholarship at University of Oklahoma. And I was like, that is amazing that you can get a scholarship in esports. And he goes, yeah, they're looking at giving me some money to come play games for University of Oklahoma. I think, good for you, man. Knock it out of the park. So I'll be able to ask him about that this Christmas. Hey, how's it going? Did you get your scholarship?
So maybe some of these kids are thinking one day I want to be Santa.
Be Santa. Hopefully that it leaves a good enough memory that they would, yeah, I want to do that. I want to bring joy.
Yeah.
One of the things that some of the Santas have taught us is that when a child reaches the age where they no longer can be convinced that, and I share it with parents, if your child's to the point that they're not going to believe anymore, I send them this little script that about, well, if you want to know the truth, you know, if you're ready for the truth, if you can handle the truth, I'll tell you the truth. And I'll ask, is there a Santa? No, there's not one Santa. Everyone's a part of Santa. And start to share about, now that you know the truth, you have to become Santa and bring the magic for the littles. And it's all about giving anonymously, bringing joy, spreading good cheer. You know, and now that you know that there isn't one, then you have to be a part of that. And the parents are, you know, to tell them, all those gifts that I bought and put Santa's name on, it wasn't so I got thank yous or I got any kind of glory out of it. It was a gift anonymously out of love and to bring joy. Mm-hmm. So you need to learn to give anonymously with the purpose of bringing joy or meeting a need. And so you can make that, not make, but encourage that child. You know the truth now, but you've got to keep that magic alive for the younger ones. And now that you know, you're a part of it. And I think that's why our grandkids, I think they kind of get it, that I'm not the only Santa. Mm. I go to Santa conventions. I show pictures of all these other Santas. I was fortunate enough in 2018 in Colorado, Denver, Colorado. Steve Gillum is a former Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey clown in the Hall of Fame at Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, but he's also a Santa. He passed away just last month. But I was at the convention and Stephen Gillum was walking by and I said, Stephen, come over here a minute. I'm FaceTiming with my grandkids. I want you to say hi to them. So I held up the phone and he's talking to him on the phone and he ended it with his classic line, a line that he says with everybody or said, I love you and there ain't a darn thing you can do about it. And I just was like, wow, that's awesome. So my kids know that there were other people out there that brought joy and they understand there's not just one Santa. Papa knows lots of Santas. Mm. And so they're cool with that. They're okay with that. And they go get pictures with other Santas. Yeah, blasphemy.
Yes.
No, but they'll get pictures with Santa Dan, with other Santas at other places, and I've got no problem with it, and they don't have a problem with it. However, they will tell them that I'm the real Santa. In fact, when they went one year to see Santa Dan down at North Pole City, they were waiting in line, and they went up there, and so I believe it was Elise, the oldest one, said, my papa's a Santa. And Dan knew who I was, but didn't know that these were my grandkids. And he was like, oh, really? Uh-huh. My papa's a Santa too. Well, Courtney, my daughter, was there, and she leaned over and she goes, he's a member of the IBRBS too. It's Greg Gilpin. And Dan was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Your papa is a Santa. So he was aware that they knew that he wasn't the only Santa, and I was the real Santa. But they don't have a problem with it. They love Santa Dan. And Santa Dan does such a great job of making sure that the Christmas story is emphasized as well. In fact, when he was doing North Pole City, every year he would do one session each week, which was all the kids come in and sit at his feet, and he would read or tell the Christmas story. And I've always appreciated that about him, is that, yeah, we're going to make sure that Santa's a part of the celebration, but he is not the reason for the celebration.
Has he been a mentor Dan, or have you had one other than?
I have looked up to him for years. I did some work for him as a graphic designer for a foundation he had called Mustard Seed, and I did some work for his foundation and met him then, and always thought he looked great, looked the part. His car had a license tag that said Sleigh on it, and this was before I was a serious Santa, and so I'd always kind of looked up to him. And then as I've got to know him and meet him, and we just have a good time interacting together. When we sit together at the Santa meetings, it gets kind of hilarious. We get to laughing and joking and cutting up, and I think at some point they're going to have to put somebody in between us. No, you guys can't sit together anymore because you're having too much fun. So yeah, he would be a mentor in that. I want to model that same spirit, that same attitude that he has. As far as training and learning, would be Tim Conahan, who's now in New York City. He was in L.A. And Robert Suter, a guy known as Santa True.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple of weekend sessions with him, and he is helped
He's a
us.
wonderful storyteller.
Oh my gosh. And that's what he is, a storyteller, not a reader. He is a storyteller, and he tries to get Santas to incorporate that more into your visits and your time. Don't read a story, tell a story. And he's amazing. He's very, very good. He's very talented. I learned a lot from him. And he does other things besides just Santa. He does Warlock and does medieval fair stuff. I mean, he just likes to portray characters. And so we've learned a lot about Santa business from him, or interacting.
Well, there definitely is a degree of performing. I am learning.
Yeah, in fact, he calls his workshops Christmas performers workshops, because he also tries to train people who are elves. You know, how do you work with Santa and with the children, and what's your role, and how do you fit all that? And Mrs. Claus's, he's big into, working Mrs. Claus in and making sure that she is a part of the presentation. He's big on creating a backstory, which is so that you can tell the kids where Mr. and Mrs. Claus met, and what it's like at the North Pole, and have your stories, work together, so that you're not, caught in a situation where I say my favorite cookie's chocolate chip, and Mrs. Claus says, "Oh, Santa Claus loves, chocolate macadamia nut cookies." Well, he told us it was chocolate. You better be on the same page, know those kind of things.
I think through the years, like when we were children, you went and sat on Santa's lap and just got a photo. Mm-hmm. And I think Santa has evolved into becoming in more conversations with children, interaction with children, instead of just that photo. And like all the Santas that we know, they really take the time to interact with the children. It's not just quick on your lap and get the photo and get out of here. It's really some conversations and showing the love to the children and that kind of thing. And I think that really makes a memory for the child, and helps really for those moments, those little quick moments, bond with Santa and have that experience. So that's really kind of special.
Has that been the way since you first started, or just more in the last 5 or 6 years, do you think, that change?
Oh, well, you've probably always
14 or
done
07?
that. Because the first event that he started with was it a party?
It was an adult party.
And so
so I was
talking with people, and was interactions. It wasn't just sitting someplace and taking photos. So, but even like with his photographers, they allot a little bit of time so that he can talk to them, not just what do you want for Christmas, but how's school going? You know, what are you doing around the house to help your mom? Or, just some little things like that where he's actually talking to them, and it's just not just a photo. So
Yeah, beyond the mall Santa is
right.
Yeah. The closest thing I have to the mall Santa situation is the schools, where we're on a time schedule and we've got 300 kids in line or whatever. And it is brief, but I still try to get some conversation in there. And some of my saddest moments have been there, where a child will come up and they're sad, and I know they're sad. So what's bothering you, sweetheart? And that's where you get, well, my grandmother just passed away, or my dog passed away, or whatever. And it's, I'm sorry, and we have a little quiet time there. And but and those are times I wished that I could really stop and take the time to help them or comfort them. But one year I had a little girl come, and his mother had just passed away, and she was telling me that, and I was like, the photographers that I work with are fabulous, and they can tell if I need a little time, they'll buy that for me. So I visited with her a little bit and tried to tell her that it'd be okay, and I'd be praying for her, and it's good to remember your mom and all the happy times. So we took the picture, and she went off. The teacher came back after the class was done and everything. She came back. She goes, "Thank you." She needed that.
Yeah. I think maybe it's the blue eyes.
Maybe.
They are blue, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yes,
they're blue. Yeah. But there's.
You want to give them a hug, but you really.
You
have to be careful with that too these days, don't you?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, people wonder why we wear white gloves. So our hands are visible in the photos, so that you always see where Santa's hands are, and we have to be careful. Don't want to get a picture. And my photographers, as kids are sitting with me or standing next to me or whatever, they'll do this, which is, I can't see one of your hands. Oh, okay, I'll move it so that it's visible. Because we don't want anybody saying anything, was going on. Or we live in such a litigious society that we can't be too careful.
Has that been more in the last 10 years, or was it from the earliest time when you were involved?
No, that's probably been it was one of the things that Tim, in that first school that we went to, was one of the first things he stressed was, no matter how pure your heart, no matter how sincere, innocent it is, there's people that are looking to bring you down. And so here's some things to watch, to avoid, to make sure. And he said, that's why we wear white gloves, man. So they're visible. Everybody can see where your hands are. Make sure that they're always, where they can be seen. When it comes to older girls, it's a side hug, not a full-on embrace. Now, little kids will run up and they'll just, so you got to hug them, but as older girls and stuff, everything's from the side. We're going to keep everything, make sure nobody can ever question it.
You have to worry about liability and background checks and all of that.
All of us that are in the IBRBS, which is the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas, Mrs. Claus as well, she's a member as well. We carry insurance for just those kinds of things. Well, like if I'm there and a child were to trip over my boot and get hurt, I'm covered. My photographer's covered. Okay, well, we had an incident or whatever. But it also has some protection in there for if someone was to make some kind of a claim or whatever.
Yeah.
So
it's sad that it's come to that.
It is sad that it is
And they all do have background checks, and that's really, if I was to hire a Santa today, or a clown, or somebody that would come in, you would want to make sure that you're hiring somebody that doesn't have anything that you don't know about. Yeah. So, you would do that.
And that's the beauty of being a member of the IBRBS. or a member of our Oklahoma Santas group is, every one of us knows that if I can't fulfill an event, I can recommend, Santa Blair or somebody, because I know he's had his background check. Of course, I know him as a man. I know they're wonderful people, but I can rest assured that I can recommend him or any of the other members. And I'll get people a call, say, I've got an event. I'm sorry, I'm booked. I can recommend someone for you. Or if you want to go to our Facebook page and put your need out there, I need a Santa Claus for 2 hours for a company party or whatever, they'll contact you. I'm open that night. And I can do that knowing that everybody that's going to respond is safe.
Yeah.
So, because I don't want to send somebody over there that, with a sketchy background or is not going to be clean and presentable. And
one bad Santa.
One bad Santa can hurt all of us. Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's the wonderful thing about those types of organizations and our group is that I know these guys.
Does it get competitive?
No.
That
I don't think they do. They really are out there to help each other. And after Christmas, they will say, oh, well, I had this many visits, or I went to see this person, but that's kind of sharing their story, different things. Like if you had a really fantastic event, or you got to meet a celebrity or something like that, you just want to share that information. But I would say competition, no, it's kind of really odd because they don't really compete with each other. They're really there to help each other and to make sure that whoever has an event in this area, whatever, or Tulsa, Oklahoma City, surrounding areas, that those events get taken care of and that there's a Santa at those events because it's been requested. So, and we had, a Santa that had some health issues, and all the Santas did what they could to fulfill all of his obligations that he had already made, and then gave the money to that Santa so that, he didn't lose out on what he would have earned that year. So it's really a very giving group.
That was incredible. Popular Santa, been Santa for years, so he had all these photographers lined up and his regular gigs that he had, and he got sick and couldn't fulfill. And some of the Santas, it was amazing. Every one of them that filled in for him at different events, the money just went to him. No, don't pay us, pay him. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. And you said competitive. Some of my oak tree gig that's now been an annual event for me for, 7-8 years, came from another Santa that called me and said, they're looking, I can't do it. Here's their name and number. I did it for them a year ago or whatever. Give them a call. And I called them and have been doing it ever since. And one of the agreements we have, and I think this is fabulous, is if you fill in for a Santa, that's still their gig.
Okay.
So that next year, I'm like, Bo, are you doing it? He goes, no, I don't have time for it. It's yours now. But I'll fill in, I'll do it, but it's still your client, your gig. And if this was only a one time, you couldn't do it and you want back in there, that's your thing. And so that's kind of cool. I've had some great stuff that's been given to me to do because another Santa recommended me. I got to go out to an airport and got to arrive in a red biplane because another Santa couldn't make it work in his schedule. And I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I get to come to this event in a red biplane. And then just this last year, through all of that, I got to arrive at a party in a red helicopter. I was so geeked out about that. That was so much fun. But and that's all because another Santa who couldn't, because of time and scheduling, and couldn't do it. But he said, here, talk to this guy. And that's fun. And, hopefully, I know I've given a few jobs to other Santas. the school thing that I started doing came about because a former employee or friend at work that Terry had,
Well, his brother.
his brother, the Santa that they had passed away or had gotten sick, and they needed a Santa, and so I got roped into.
Not roped.
Not roped. Yeah, I
The
got.
opportunity.
As a
There you go.
privilege,
I
yes.
got the opportunity to do that season for the school people, the school picture people, and so that's grown, so that now I'm able to have brought along 2 other Santas out of our group because there's so many schools that they're doing that they have to do 2 a day in sometimes, and so of course I can't be in both places. So now we have a couple other Santas that I've given the opportunity to, hey, I need you on these days. Can you do it? And they're like, yeah. And so, we try to pull each other along, help each other out. I've loved that because now I've always worried that, man, if I'm sick,
Yes. Yeah.
well, now I know there's 2 other guys that are familiar with how this all works that I can call and say, man, I'm sick. I can't do it. And they can jump in and fill. And that helps a lot to know that if something happens, I can still get it covered.
Do you, as a group, do you all talk about when you're going to age out, when you're going to hang up your suit for good? I mean, does that come up? Or
Yeah.
when that might?
Santa situations change. Guys who have been Santas for a long time and maybe now they're struggling getting around, and maybe even using a motorized vehicle, to get around, they will pass their personal appearance opportunities onto another Santa, but now maybe transition into something else that I do, which is a video chats, where they can be at their computer, at the North Pole or their workshop, and they can visit either live or record a message so they can still be Santa, but they don't get to have the kids sitting on their laps, but they're still spreading joy. They're still getting to be a part. And so that's a great opportunity. And COVID expanded that so much because there was just, people weren't getting together. And so they would do it via Zoom. Santa appears to a class via Zoom. Hey, I'm here at the North Pole. I'm glad to see y'all out there. And that worked. It wasn't great. It wasn't the same, but it bridged the gap a little bit. A lot of Santas, because at the time nobody really knew about COVID, they would wear masks. I didn't. And I even did our school shoots when we were back in school with no mask. And the kids would be wearing masks, and they'd come up and they would take them off to take the picture and then immediately put them back on. And fortunately, by God's grace, I never got sick. In every season, it's amazing that I don't get sick during the school season because I've got thousands of kids that are this close telling me what they want, and I haven't been sick, and I'm just very grateful for that. But that COVID made the video thing huge because then everybody was like, okay, I got to figure out. I got to order backdrops so that I can be at the North Pole, or I can be in my workshop, or I can be out in the forest with snow or whatever, and they could continue to do that. Well, that opened up some doors then for people. Well, I can't do the personal visit anymore anyway, but I can still be a part, and so that's been really good. Now we just had a Santa in our group this year who has finally said, "That's it. I can't do it anymore." He had a stroke, and it's limited him a little bit, and so he is finally done. He said, I have to hang it up, and that's sad. I hate it for guys that have to hang it up. Now if they want to, because they've just decided it's more than they want to do, and that's great, but in this case this man would have been Santa till he died, and he had to give it up, and I know that that's hard.
Very hard if you can't phase out.
Yeah,
It's even
yeah.
harder, isn't it?
And he was so into it that he wore red every day. He was Santa 365 days a year, 24 hours. I mean, and he had to finally hang it up. And I feel bad for him because he just enjoyed it so much.
Just become a grandpa Santa.
Yeah,
Or something.
yeah, a mentor Santa or something. But you know, physically he couldn't do it anymore. And then there's going to be a time for me. I know that. One of my photo sessions now involves 6 different sets. I spend 20 minutes with the children, and we move through 6 different sets. I go from reading them a book to at my office at the North Pole looking at the naughty nice list. We have a snowball fight. We do all. Well, part of it involves me getting down and up. Well, as my knees and hips and everything get older, it's harder for Santa to get down and up in all these photo shoots. But so at some point, I mean, that's going to have to change, or they're going to have to get someone who's younger and healthier that can do all that.
Maybe you'll step up.
Yeah.
Do something, step up.
Yeah. So, but that's an event that I've done now for quite a few years and thoroughly enjoyed. But
So during Zoom, did you order a backdrop and do some things from there?
I do have a backdrop at Santa's Workshop, and I used a little bit, but then I started doing just recording messages for parents, and this has worked out really well. I've cut back on a little bit last year because I was so busy, but I would have the parents, if they could, send me the child's letter. And they would send me the letter, and then I would record a 2.5, 3 minute video and say, "Hey, Tim, this is Santa. It's just a few days till Christmas. I wanted to tell you I got your letter." I can hold up their actual letter. You know, this is the letter I got here at the North Pole, and I see what you want here, and yeah, we can make that happen, and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just talking to the camera. They're not there yet. I send that video to the parents, and then the parents on their phone say, "Hey, we got a message from Santa today." And they like it. It has been really, really popular. The parents love it because they can plug it in wherever they, in their schedule. They don't have to schedule a time to have the kids there. They can do it whenever. And I've had real positive response to that. In fact, I had one lady videotaped her kids watching it on the TV so I could see how they reacted to it. And when I said their name, they just were turning around and looking, "He knew my name. Yeah, he's talking to you." And then they saw their letter. I mean, and they were so excited. And so the little message ends, and she's still recording him. And she goes, "What do you think?" "What's awesome? Santa called you." "Yeah." And so, I thought, "Oh, that's cool." I mean, not as fun as being there, but it was cool to see.
Do you send the letter back to them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Mom may want to keep that or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. So I send the letter back, and Mom has that for scrapbook or whatever she wants. But,
so how does being Santa play into your regular job, or is this your regular job?
No, I still have a regular job. I'm a graphic designer, but
that's what I thought.
But I can.
He's self-employed, and so that makes it easier that he doesn't have to go into the office from 8 to 5. So he can adjust his schedule. So sometimes he'll be Santa in the evenings and work his regular job during the day, or vice versa, whatever he needs to do to get the schedule. But there's lots of hours because of it.
Yeah, no, when I first started, I still had an outside office at home now, but I had an outside office that I had to be at, and that it became a challenge because I would have these school events during the day, so I would go to work dressed as Santa, start my day, go to the school, shoot for 3 or 4 hours, come back to the office. I'm still in Santa, and people would come into the office and go, "Okay, why are you dressed as Santa?" I had to be Santa today. And so that's okay. I would go to places that supply materials for me, dressed as Santa, and they always enjoy it. They think it's funny. We take selfies or whatever because here comes Santa to pick up some printing or whatever, and I'm in full.
Well, Santa brings out the best in most people.
Most people.
People.
Most people. It can be frightening. Driving down the Kilpatrick Highway at 75 miles an hour, dressed in, and you look over and the guy next to you's got his cell phone and is taking a video of you. It's like, watch the road because one of us is going to get hurt here. But it's fun. I got to tell you, one of our favorite events, most important event, I think, is every year we go to the Integris NICU and take pictures of the babies, the newborns that are in the NICU because of health issues. And so one year, Mrs. Claus and I are headed through the hospital lobby to go up to the NICU. And we always encounter one or two children or people who see us coming in, and they talk, and some want to take selfies or whatever, elfies. And so there's one little boy, and the mom goes, well, do you want to take a picture with Santa? He goes, no, I want a picture with the princess. Well, I'm like, oh, yeah, great kid. Naughty list for you. But anyway, because he, Mrs. Claus there in her big skirt, and it's beautiful, and he wanted a picture with the princess. So Mrs. Claus can be.
We had a picture.
Yeah, with his princess. And I remember that. I think that's so sweet that in his mind that she's a princess, and it's fun. And taking pictures of the babies is hard.
I would think. Yeah.
They're tiny. When I first did it, the first time I ever did it, I went by myself. Went up there, and we're going around from cubicle to cubicle, and in my mind I thought they'll have me stand by the incubators and we'll take a picture and all that. And we did a few like that, and then they said, all right, sit down here, and they took this little 3-pound baby, all these wires, tubes, put her in my hands, and we took a picture of me holding her up close like this. I was like, wow, I can't believe they're having me hold these little babies, but they did, and put the baby back, and we're going to the next cubicle or whatever. And I told the nurse that was escorting me, I said, that is so cool that these babies are getting their first picture with Santa Claus. And she stopped me. She goes, for a lot of these, it'll be their only picture with Santa Claus. I'm like, I didn't have to know that. You could have just let me think that all these babies.
Yeah.
She goes,
Yeah.
a lot of these babies will never leave here. And that just, one of those times it just crushed me. I was like, oh, this is their only picture. There won't be a 5-year-old sitting on Santa's lap somewhere. The picture is going to be this baby with all these tubes and wires and Santa. So, oof, makes me sad.
And you can't say no when they ask you to come, though.
Oh.
It's too special.
No, and then Mrs. Claus started going with me, and she's been a part of it and there and helped me through those times. And it's one of our favorite events, but it's a hard event.
Well, how do you recover, like self-care after something like that? What do you do to just kind of, regroup, I guess?
Regroup? Well, that's where Mrs. Claus is so handy. She's the one that makes sure that I can. She takes care of all the hard stuff. Making sure that I get food in a long shoot. She'll want to make sure that I've packed snacks and water and getting through the shoot. When I come home, if I've been out all day, she makes sure. My Mrs. Claus, I couldn't do without her. She makes my hair, my beard look great. She makes sure that suits look good, my shirts are ironed, and I fit the part. She doesn't get any credit for that. And then she makes sure that I stay healthy, that I eat, I stay hydrated. She's constantly, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. And like I said, I couldn't do without her. And downtime for for me, or recoup time is come home and watch a Christmas movie or something.
I was going to say, do you get tired of the Christmas part of it?
No, not so much. And I mentioned toys earlier, how we have to stay up on top of toys, but we have to stay on top of the movies. You know, when Kurt Russell came out with the Christmas Chronicles, which I loved.
You have to learn his moves in the jail singing.
Know what he's talking about? Because people will bring up movie stuff. Kids a lot of times will come and they'll say, well, what do you want for Christmas? I want a BB gun. And my response has to be, because this is what they're looking for, is you'll shoot your eye out with that thing. Because that's from the movie and they know it and that's kind of what they expect. And so you watch the movies and so that you have all that, because kids will say, well, I saw where you can magically do this or that. And I said, oh, you saw that in the movie, didn't you? And I said, well, Hollywood takes some liberties, you know, really can't do these. And so, you know, kids' names, that's the other thing. Kids, you know, well, what's my name? Well, I don't know. What is your name? You don't know your name? Do we need to find someone to know? And you, so you can, no, you're supposed to know my name. I am. What makes you think that? Well, I see in the movies. Oh, Hollywood always gets that wrong. Let me ask you a question. If I'm supposed to know your name, why do I keep a list? I don't know. So that I can remember your name and remember if you've been good. I said, do you know there's 2.1 billion children in the world? Do you think I can remember 2.1 billion names? Well, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. That's why I keep a list. And pretty soon they're like, okay, well, my name's Jimmy or Johnny or whatever. But when they say, what's my name? Oh my goodness, let's find somebody that knows. If you don't know what it is, no, you're supposed to know my name. Oh no. So, you know, you kind of, if you know the movies, you know where they're getting that from. Or you can even use the movies to kind of throw it back at them a little bit, you know. Well, didn't you see in the movie Where I did this or that? Yeah, well, see, that's the way it is. You know, oh, okay. So the more I know about the movie, the better off it is. The more you know about the Grinch, the fact that, you know, he turned out to be a good guy. And what made him a good guy, and why is that important for us? Those all play into the character.
I think one of the reasons why he's a good Santa is because he will get down on the child's level. So if it's a 2-year-old, then he talks to them, you know, like what a 2-year-old would be interested in and what toys and so forth. But if it's a teenager, then he talks to them about what is relevant to a teenager these days. And he can make jokes about anything and laugh about anything. And so he really sets the children at ease. And he's very patient with even the child that, you know, doesn't want to come to Santa. He'll, you know, just sit there and be real quiet and kind of, you know, watch the child. And then if they, you know, kind of are looking at him, he'll just like wave at them or something. And pretty soon he can usually, almost always, coax him up to at least standing in front of him so that the parent can get that photo. And but I think that's one of the reasons why he's really a good Santa, is because he's still a child.
I beg your pardon. I resemble that.
He really knows how to interact with children.
Yeah, and she mentioned the standoffish child, the scared child, the frightened child. Also aware that mom and dad want that picture. They check. So if there's a high back chair somewhere, I'll say, you know what? Why don't you just have a seat there? Mom needs to get a picture of you, and we'll figure out a way where I can sneak behind the tree or whatever, and I'll be behind the chair. And the kid doesn't know I'm there, and I'll be, you know, doing whatever, and they'll be snapping. Oh, you're looking so sweet, and then I'll walk back, and they never realize till they see the picture that I was in the picture. I just wasn't holding them or whatever, and that works really well. One of my photographers, that's her shtick. She brings the children in. They sit in a big chair. Santa's nowhere to be seen. I come from behind. The first few shots are me behind them, looking down at them, whatever. And then she'll ask them, would you like to see Santa? And they'll go, yeah, or then so okay, it's But if they, yeah, and then I'll turn around, well, look up here, and they'll turn around, and there's some great photos of them seeing me above them for the first time. He's been here the whole time, and then I'll come and sit down with him and I'll take pictures. But we start with that. That way she's got that picture. There's the child, there's Santa. The child's happy because it doesn't know that Santa's there. And then if it all falls to pieces after that, that's okay. We got that picture. We can fall back on that. And it works real well. And the parents enjoy it.
Sure, your face is plastered over lots of places. And as long as you've been doing this, you can imagine.
Oh, that's another thing. There's one family that I go visit every year. And on their wall, they put up Christmas pictures. They replaced their normal artwork or whatever with just a bunch of Christmas pictures. But there's 2 canvas prints of me coming in their front door from previous years and me with the kids. And it's always so weird to be sitting here looking at yourself in their home. That is bizarre.
But it is kind of unique in that because he does a lot of events in this area, but also Norman and so forth, that he will see some of the same children at different things. Like he might see them at the school event, and then he might see them out at one of the parades, or he might see them at our church. And so multiple times it's the same Santa at all these different things. And so, I mean, there's some repetitive there, and it's kind of unique, or I don't know.
It's fun.
It is fun, I would think. And it's the connections you're doing with that generation plus grandma and grandpa and
Yeah.
parents too.
Yep.
So, and then sometimes when you go through like Facebook or something, I'm like, people are like, oh, that's my Santa. And I'm like, that's my Santa too.
So yeah, it's fun. It can go to my head a little bit. She's like, oh yeah, he thinks he's somebody. It is just.
He has a good time.
I enjoy it so much, yeah. And kids that come up and my favorites. I love in costume, but those incidents like last night where I'm not in costume, I'm just out and about, and a kid will come up and say, Santa, and we get to talk. And,
I mean, like even at Home Depot, there was a little girl.
Little girl.
A little girl. She kept telling her daddy, there's Santa. And then the dad finally brought the little girl up and said, she thinks you're Santa. And he's like, then he just immediately just goes into Santa mode and starts talking to the child.
So I started talking to her, and another thing that I learned from some other Santas is it's when a child comes up to you, and if you're standing, you're very dominating and intimidating. Get down. So it makes it hard on my knees now, but I try to get down on their level and lower the voice. They don't want the big booming, ho, 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 Mary. That's frightening, that's scary. So it's very soft. Hey, how you doing, sweetheart? Yeah, it's so nice to see you. How you been? Is school going well? And just talk like that, and pretty soon they're very comfortable, warm up, and tell you all kinds of stuff like that. So this young lady that saw me at Home Depot, and Dad finally said, I'm sorry, but she thinks you're Santa. Well, I am, and so we visit. He called me up the next year. He goes, said his name and everything. He says, I'm the one whose daughter saw you at Home Depot. I said, oh yeah, I remember. He goes, every time we go to Home Depot, she looks down every aisle hoping to see you there. I said, well, hopefully I'll see her again. He goes, well, can you come to the house and have a home visit? So we were able to schedule a home visit. But he goes, I'm a contractor, so we're in Home Depot all the time. And she is always looking to see if you're there.
Like, chances are.
It might be there. And, it's, well, why are you here, Santa? Well, we ran out of some things at the workshop. I need to get screws or bolts or a new tool or whatever. Oh, so it's you play along with them and you try to make them smile, make them happy.
And it's like when we're like last night when we were out, then the children were like, well, why are you here? And the parents heard that. And so they were very quick to say, well, Santa's on vacation, which is what our response would be too, well, we're on vacation. Pretty soon we have to go back to North Pole and start getting things ready for Christmas. But right now we're just taking a break, and it's so nice in Oklahoma.
Man, it's great here.
We wanted to come and visit.
Yeah, and they wanted to know, who's that lady over there? That's Mrs. Claus. So
yeah, because a lot of times the children, they don't associate a woman with Santa, because in most all the movies and the different things, or even like when they've gone before to see take pictures with Santa, it's always just Santa, and so they're not used to seeing a lady or a Mrs. Claus with them. But most all of our home visits, I go with him, and so now that's kind of a routine for us. But still, the children, they don't associate a woman with Santa, so it's kind of a little confusing to them.
So if you don't want to be recognized, you send Mrs. Claus in to get something.
Yeah. If I'm not there, they're not as likely to recognize her. However, where was it the other day? We were at a restaurant.
Yeah, we were at a restaurant. I still think it's somebody that you know.
Well, nobody I recognized. I was standing off to one side, and Terri was in line or whatever, and this gentleman walks by and says, "No, Mrs. Claus." I wasn't there. I mean,
but we had been together.
I don't know.
I think he saw that, and then I walked over to get a drink, and he walked by. He and his wife walked by, and he says, "Hello, Mrs. Claus." I said, "Well, hello. How are you doing?"
But she immediately picked up. Okay, I'm Mrs. Claus. But that was kind of unusual that she would be called out, not being standing right there next to me. Children, when I'm out and about and they see my wedding, you can't be Santa. You're married. Well, of course I'm married. I'm married to Mrs. Claus. Well, where's she at? Well, she's at the North Pole, taking care of the elves and making sure that everything's running at the North. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't think Santa could be married. Well, of course Santa could be married.
And another thing that they always ask is, well, where's your sleigh? Where's your reindeer?
Mm-hmm.
And he has a great response to that. It's Christmas magic. Only on Christmas Eve do the reindeer fly, and do we use the sleigh. When we're anyplace else, we take normal transportation, an airplane or a car or a truck or something like that. So
the sleigh thing is, they always say, well, where's your sleigh? It's at the North Pole. Well, why didn't you bring it? It can only fly on Christmas Eve. Now, what do you mean? I said, well, it takes Christmas magic to make the sleigh fly. You've heard of Christmas magic, haven't you? Yeah, I said, and wonderful things happen on Christmas that people attribute to Christmas magic, right? Yeah. Well, that's what makes the sleigh fly. I can only make the reindeer and the sleigh fly on Christmas Eve. So the rest of the time, the reindeer don't fly. They just walk around at the North Pole. The sleigh sits in the barn. So I have to use other transportation, and I'll list stuff. I'll say planes, cars, trucks, fire trucks, helicopters, camels, and then they'll go, camels? Oh yeah, when I go to Africa to see people or in the Middle East, sometimes I take a camel, and they're like, oh, that's weird. So that becomes fun, and they'll start asking about different places. And the other thing is I try and know as much about Christmas in other countries. Because last year I was at a book signing event, and one of the men there was from England, and he was talking with a young child there, and the child was telling me about the cookie he was going to leave out, and I said, that gentleman right there never left out cookies for me. And the guy didn't know where I was going with it. He was like, what? And the child was, what? I said, no, he would always leave me biscuits. And the guy goes, that's right, Santa. And I said, yeah. And so we talked a little bit about the customs of England for this guy, how Santa is not Santa, it's Father Christmas. And so this guy was like, oh, well, that's very good. I remember coming and seeing you. And so this kid now has the validation that, oh, I know English tradition as well. So yeah, I must have gone and seen this man when he left me biscuits and waited for Father Christmas to come. And I have a photographer that one of her clients, the husband is from Australia. And mate is thrown in everything that he, how you doing today, mate? I'm doing great. And then he's talking. And I made the comment about to his child, I said, when I went and visited your dad when he was a little boy, I never took the reindeer there. You didn't? No. When I go to Australia, I had 2 large kangaroos that pull my sleigh. They're called boomers. And Dad's over there going, that's right. That's the Australia. And I, of course, had to get rid of my coat because it's summertime in Australia when I go down there. And the kids are like, it is? And they're looking at Dad, and Dad's going, yeah, he's right. We celebrate Christmas on the beach. And so the dad was like, that's great that you know what Christmas was like for me when I was little. And it helped me kind of explain to the child, yeah, Christmas is different here than what Dad had when he was a kid. And of course, that makes me look good because, oh, look, Santa knows that it's summertime in Australia and the sleigh's pulled by boomers, not reindeer. And so I try to keep up on all the Christmas trivia.
You have to recall it every year. I mean, refresh it every year, or do you just have it in there?
It kind of gets stuck in there.
Well, that's good.
Christmas trivia. Well, trivia of all sorts is kind of my thing, but Christmas trivia is real important. The history of Santa. I can tell you that he was born in 270 on March 15th. It was St. Nicholas. His whole story about his parents and how all of it's derived from St. Nicholas to Santa Claus, the names of Santa Claus in the different countries, all those kinds of things that you kind of throw in there, and people are like, this guy is not just dressed up, he knows his stuff. And she hates having, when I know all the stuff, throw this stuff out there, she's like, show off.
It's a good combination you two have, though, I think.
Like I said, without Terri, my Santa appearance, my Santa persona would not be what it is. I mean, it's all because she makes it what it is, makes me what I am, Santa.
And no regrets having gone down that path.
Not for me. Well, and it,
No,
five,
didn't know when we got married that
she was
it was
married
going
in
to
Santa
involve
Claus.
into this. But it is really a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun, and it to bring joy to other people. Really, that's what it's all about. So.
When 5 o'clock in the morning, when she's making my beard up and making sure my hair looks good, before she gets herself even ready to go to her job, sometimes she gets a little tired of that, and I don't blame her. I mean, it's
so during season, your day can start as early as 5.
Yeah, I'm usually to work pretty early, so he has to look his best before I leave.
Yeah, she tries to get into her job by 6, so she has to do me
6:30, between 6 and 7. So.
So she has to get me taken care of before she leaves,
and then what time might you get home on a typical day during the season?
If it's a weekday, generally I'm home 4 o'clock because it's a school.
Because
I've
of the
done a school
schools.
stuff.
Okay.
He has to quit when the school quits.
So I'll be home before she even gets home from work. I may or may not have something that evening. Kind of depends. Weekday evenings, particularly early, are not a problem.
Usually, then if it's a home visit, it's like 6 or 6:30 after the parents have gotten home and they've gotten their party going or their neighbors come over or whatever, and then it's not very long, like an hour at the most. So.
Okay.
Yeah, home visits are very flexible. Depends on the number of children. if I go in and it's just one child, it'll be a fairly brief, because there's only so much time that child really is interested in me. If there's a group of kids, 10 or 12 or whatever, it'll take more time because everybody wants their picture and then wants to ask questions and tell me things. And we do all the different groups, here's brothers and cousins, and these are classmates or whatever, and now we need mom and dad in here. And so it can take quite a bit of time. But
I would say late nights, not so much. But we are very busy on Christmas Eve. So.
I would think on weekends, too, Saturdays maybe too.
Yeah.
And you get tired of smiling.
Yeah.
I mentioned Robert Suter earlier.
Yeah.
And one of the things he stresses or encourages is an exercise he calls Kringles. And you're to take a pencil and put it in your teeth, and it forces you to exercise your cheeks, because I thought it was kind of ridiculous at first or whatever, but I've done it enough now that those first few sessions, I come home, oh man, my face hurts because I've been smiling so long and constantly, and so the idea of doing Kringles or exercises is not a bad idea, because it does keep your face from getting tired as easily as that constant smiling.
You have to keep the eyes alert and twinkling too during that, don't you?
Oh, yeah, it's the only other issue or problem I have or struggle with is nutrition during the day. I mentioned that 10-hour shoot, 12-hour sessions, whatever. And the photographers are real good. They'll say, hey, we're going to break for lunch, blah, 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 and we're going to go get, and I'm like, I can't. You guys go get barbecue. I can't afford to get barbecue sauce in my beard, my mustache, anything else.
Or your fur.
Or fur or anything else. So, you guys go ahead and eat. That's great. That's fine. I got no problem with that. So I have to have something that I know I can eat without getting it all over. And so she makes sure I pack, something that I can eat safely.
I'm thinking a smoothie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's cool and nutritious.
Yeah. Well, even when it comes to drinks, I it's best if I have a straw.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So that you don't, get anything on there. But the people are like, oh well, we got hot chocolate or cocoa. Thanks, I really appreciate it, but no. And that can be difficult. I've gone to some parties at homes where they've had caterers or whatever, and they've got these incredible meals, and they're like, oh, help yourself. Boy, I'd love to, because that sure smells good. No, I'm out. Just gotta smile and say, I hope you're enjoying it. It looks good. Got any cookies? But we have a good time with it.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered all of mine questions.
Good.
Do
Well,
you
thank
have
you.
anything else you want to say before I do my last question? I do have one last one.
Well, no, the only thing I would say is I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And if I was Stephen Gum, I love you, and there's not a darn thing you can do about it.
There you go. So my last question is, how do you want people to remember you, not as Santa, as you?
Happy, laughing. I've told Terri that I want to write a book sometime, or of an obituary or whatever, and it's going to be the laugh and times of Greg Gilpin, and just be funny. My dad had a quote: "If it's not fun, make it funny," and that's why I want to be remembered. He brought joy every time he was around. People want to be around him because he's happy, he's joyful. There have been times, absolutely. If we've been through some hard times, absolutely. But man, I got so much to be joyful for.
Yep. And how do you want to remember?
Well, I was very blessed to have my grandparents living while I grew up. But in particular, I had one grandmother, my Grand Mary. And she was just the kindest, sweetest person, and we got to spend the night with her. We baked with her. She just was a wonderful, wonderful grandmother. And I want to be remembered as a wonderful grandmother to my 4 grandchildren, and just have time to spend with them, do activities with them, create memories with them. And that's really what that's really important to me.
I think you both have accomplished that. But
Oh.
have no doubt that that's how you will be remembered.
I hope so.
Scavenger hunts
Yes.
and
Scavenger.
cookies.
Oh my gosh, scavenger hunts. Yep. And they'll probably pass that on
Yeah. Yeah.
to their children. And I'll be great. I hope it's as hard for them as it is for us.
On that note, I'll say thank you for sharing with me today. It's
Oh,
been great.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you for including us. Appreciate it.
It's great.